Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear viewers. Today our topic is understanding financial statements. My name is Muhammad Ammar, lecturer, IBS, Angul campus, Kohart University of Sciences and Technology. Our lecture number 15. So today's our topic discussion agenda is first one is financial leverage ratio. Financial leverage ratio comparisons and the coverage ratio. So first I would like to tell you about the financial statements that we previously discussed in our lecture, that internal as well as external user get the benefit from these financial statements from balance sheet, income statement and cash flow statement. So how we analyze those financial statements, we focus on the financial ratios. In previous lecture we have talked about the liquidity ratio, and liquidity ratio have two more ratios, that first one is current and the second is asset test ratio. So now today's lecture we will talk about financial leverage ratio, and then the comparison of this financial leverage ratio to the industry average, and then we also talk about the coverage ratio as well. So financial leverage ratio, or we can say balance sheet ratio. So this one is our debt to equity ratio. You can see debt to equity. So in this ratio we take the debt and also we take the equity. So firstly I would like to tell you about that we are having an example of basket wonders, that previously lecture we talk about the balance sheet and income statement of basket wonder. As an example, we took the basket wonder balance sheet and income statement for the year 2007. So you can see total sorry debt to equity ratio. They have taken the debt divided by the shareholders equity. So the total debt of the basket wonder and the shareholder equity of the basket wonder for the year 31st December 2007. So we know that the total debt of basket wonder has $1030 divided by $1139 of the shareholder equity, and we get 0.90. So what this 0.90 shows, it shows the extent to which a firm is financed by debt. It's so simple. So now we can check, or we can compare it to the industry ratio as well in our next slide. So you see there, debt to equity ratio, years 2005, 6 and 7, but right now we are talking about 2007 of the basket wonder with comparison to the industry average, and you see clearly that the basket wonder ratio is 0.9, and also the industry average ratio is also 0.9, which is both the same. So basket wonder has average debt utilization relative or same to the industry average. Now we talk about debt to total asset. In previous slide we discussed about debt to shareholders equity. Now we are talking about debt to total asset ratio, or also known as balance sheet ratio. So debt to total asset ratio, we see total debt divided by total asset, right? So this total debt is from the basket wonder example, and for the year 2007. So we know that the total debt is 1030, as also we discussed in our previous slide about the debt, and the figure is the same. The total debt is 1030, and the total asset of Basket Wonder are 2169, and the answer we get from this ratio is 0.47. So what does this show? It shows the percentage of the firm's assets that are supported by debt financing, right? Now we will compare this debt to total assets to industry average. Means we are comparing Basket Wonders ratio to the industry average. Now we can see on the next slide. You see debt to total asset ratio. The first column shows the year of 2005, 6, 7, and we currently talking about the 2007 year by comparing Basket Wonder with the industry average, and you clearly seen that Basket Wonder ratio that we get, the answer is 0.47, which is the same of the industry average, which is also 0.47. And on the other hand side, you can clearly see that previously year of the 2006 and 2005, where Basket Wonder has the same average ratio as comparison to the industry average. So Basket Wonder has average debt utilization relative to the industry average. So the third one of the financial leverage ratio is total capitalization ratio. It's also known as balance sheet ratio. So in total capitalization, you can see they have taken long-term debt plus equity. This is the main point, that you can take your total capitalization. So they have taken the long-term debt of Basket Wonder and the total capitalization, or we can say long-term debt divided by total capitalization. And these figures are being taken from an example of Basket Wonder of the year 2007. Now you see in this ratio they have taken $530 for long-term debt, which is given in Basket Wonder previous example that we discussed in our previous lecture, and the total capitalization you see 1669, and the total capitalization hint they have given above, which is the long-term debt plus equity. So we can add them and we can get the total capitalization, and which is $1669, and you get the answer from this ratio is 0.32. So what does it shows? 0.32, it shows the relative importance of the long-term debt to the long-term financing of the firm, right? So now we can compare this ratio 0.32 of the Basket Wonder to our industry average ratio in our next slide. You clearly see the total capitalization ratio, the year 2005, 6, 7, but currently we are talking about the year 2007. So the Basket Wonder comparison with the industry average, and you see the Basket Wonder ratio is 0.32 as comparison to the industry average, which is 0.30, which means BW Basket Wonder has average long-term debt utilization relative to the industry average, right? So now we discuss the coverage ratio, or we can say interest coverage ratio, or we can also say it as an income statement ratio, right? So interest coverage ratio includes EBIT divided by interest charges. EBIT divided by interest charges. As we know that EBIT stands for earning before interest and tax, and this earning before interest and tax figure being included over here is regarding for the basket wonder example that previously we discussed about its balance sheet and income statement. So they taken EBIT from its income statement of the basket wonder for the year 2007. So you can clearly seeing that the figure $210 shows the EBIT and divided by $59, which is your interest charges. So you get the answer, which is 3.56. So which indicate or shows a firm's ability to cover interest charges. This 3.56 shows ability to cover interest charges. Now we should compare it to the industry average in our next slide. So we see year 2005, 6, 7, but currently we are talking about year 2007 of the basket wonder as compared to the industry average. So you see the basket wonder ratio is 3.56, 3.56, and on the other hand side the industry average ratio is 5.19. So BW Basket Wonder has below average, right? Has below average interest coverage relative to the industry average. Yes, we are seeing that BW have 3.56 and industry on the other hand side 5.19. So they have given the trend analysis of coverage ratio trend analysis comparison. You've seen in the graph horizontal and vertical axis. On horizontal axis, you've seen in the years mentioned 2005, 6, and 7, and on the vertical axis is your ratio values, right? And the red line shows the industry and the blue line shows your BW, the basket wonder. So clearly seeing that the BW been decreasing from 2005 to 2006 years, so below than industry average, which is greater. You can see red line is above and the blue line is below. So summary of the coverage trend analysis. The interest coverage ratio for basket wonder has been falling since 2005, has been we see in our previous slide of the trend analysis of the graph of both basket wonder and industry average. So it has been below industry averages for the past 2 years. This indicates that low earnings EBIT may be a potential problem for BW Basket Wonder. Yes, and you can also see that due to these ratios, we get the benefit, or we can say the internal user also get the benefit. We can focus that there is a problem for low earnings EBIT may be a potential problem for this basket and wonder by applying or seeing the ratio. Through this ratio, through this analysis, they find their problem, right? Note, we know that debt levels are in line with the industry averages. So today's lecture we talk about leverage ratio as well as the coverage ratio, and we also talk about their comparison between industry average and BW basket wonder stocks, right? For both leverage ratio and coverage ratio. And we also discuss about that these are beneficial for internal users as well as external users, and also clearly seen on the current slide that they get to know about the problem of basket vendors, that their low earning EBIT may be a potential problem. By focusing or analyzing these coverage ratio, to get their problem or know about their problem. So it's beneficial both for internal as well as external users. So these are the related links. You can visit to watch the video by clicking this related link of YouTube channel, as well as these all are related links you can visit to get more knowledge about this related topic. Thank you from my side and stay blessed.